Welcome back into Acadiana's Morning News. Brandon Como, Caleb Morse, both filling in for Rob and Bernie. We haven't decided yet which one, who's which, but filling in for Rob and Bernie as they're on the big cruise to Alaska this week, and hope they have a great time. And I'll be here throughout next week as well doing Acadiana's Morning News. Caleb, you'll be joining me a week from today as well. So
yes,
I'm looking forward to that Friday as well. But we got a lot still to go on in this show. And as a matter of fact, we are joined by Youngsville City Councilman Matt Romero. Matt, good morning, sir.
Good morning, gentlemen, and y'all are doing a great job of filling in. They might have a hard time getting their jobs back.
Well, thank you.
Look, Matt, I mean, there's a lot, obviously, to talk about today. We've obviously got the meeting that happened this week with the Youngsville City Council, and obviously we've got the whole discussion with the separation between the city and the parish, the partial deconsolidation or whatever you want to call it, that's been discussed this week. As you've been watching it from the city of Youngsville, what is your take on what's going on right now as the city council is having these talks?
Yeah, I mean, first I'll say I don't think any other municipality in the parish is going to disagree that the city of Lafayette should have their own council. Mm-hmm. I think, speaking on behalf of myself and representing the city of Youngsville, I do have an issue and high concern for our constituents in the south part of the parish that only 5 representatives will be on the parish council, moving from 9 to 5. I think that's where it's a disjustice and not great service to the community and the parish by decreasing that number. I think if they can find a way to propose keeping the parish number the same and also doing their own city council, I don't think anybody in any other municipalities would have an issue.
Shannon and I were discussing the other day. We came up with 7 for each. What do you think about that? 7 council members for each.
I have no issue with that. I think that would incorporate a little bit smaller districts because initially the 5 you're looking at state rep, state senate type districts, and that's huge. And every other parish around has 9 to 12. So, yeah, I mean, 7's definitely getting closer. I would just hate for, one district to be, not taken care of because it's too large and the representative can't handle it. And, one thing I want to make sure I say, too, that, I've heard the comment, all these other municipalities are gobbling up all these unincorporated areas. Since I've been on city council in my 3.5, close to 4 years, we've done 3 annexations, and one of them was one piece of land property that was in the middle of Youngsville that just wasn't incorporated for some reason. So that's not happening in our area by any means.
Yeah, it's really amazing. There's a lot of different thoughts being put out there, and really it's for people to decide who they trust in saying what's being said, because you just mentioned, one of the things you wanted to do was kind of set the record straight on something that's being talked about. There's multiple sides to this conversation, and one side says the other side is not giving truthful statements, and then vice versa. And as citizens, people that are watching, I know watching the city council on TV on AOC the other night, there was a lot of frustration expressed by people because, again, it feels like there's a whole lot more questions than there are answers at this point, and yet we're still moving forward.
Absolutely. And, let's all get together. We get together for all these flood mitigation meetings. Let's get together because the concern in Youngsville, I know, is, A, we have deplorable unincorporated roads that have not been taken care of for 20-plus years, one of them leading to the new high school, Southside High School. Right. And then also we have we had a flood 2 years ago, going on 3 years. And a lot of these unincorporated coulees have not been touched. If we decrease representation, I have a feeling a lot of things are going to get forgotten and the ball's going to get dropped.
So that's your only real issue with it. It would be the decreased number of representatives. You don't think that?
Well, yeah, I didn't see anything else wrong with it. I agree that, Lafayette should have their own council so that they can vote and, guide their own path and not have outside representation doing that. I get that. I don't disagree with that by any means. I wouldn't want someone from an unincorporated area deciding what the citizens of Youngsville can and can't do. I just think that when you look at all the other municipalities, 5 is a very low number. 7 is a little bit better, but why change it from the current structure that is at 9 that everybody in this parish is used to?
Well, let me ask you this. Since you brought up the unincorporated parts of the parish, what concerns would you have? I mean, I know there's still a long way to go in these talks. I know one council member expressed concern talking about the fact that you have property taxes, but that there's not a whole lot of sales taxes being collected in the unincorporated parts of the parish. And so talking about if this goes through, he expressed concern that the unincorporated wouldn't be able to sustain itself. What are your thoughts moving forward as what to do with the unincorporated parts of the parish?
Well, and I have heard that conversation, just divvy it all up to all the municipalities. I think, initially on the surface, great idea. But how do you handle the deplorable areas that are not being taken care of?
Right.
Do you allocate a certain percentage of dollar amounts to that, and then whoever takes over that money goes directly back to the municipality, not to the parish, so that the municipality can take care of it? Potentially, maybe that's a way to do it. I just think that there's too many, ifs, too many questions right now. And I said this before with another news station the other day. I think government moves slow. We all know that. We could vote on something today.
No doubt.
It could be 6 months before construction starts.
Yeah.
I think when you're trying to rush something to the voters, there's concern. You have to take a step back, analyze it. It's not going to be the perfect situation. There's no way. But let's get it as right as possible before we bring it to the voters.
Youngsville City Councilman Matt Romero is our guest. If you have a couple more minutes, sir, we wanted to ask you about the council meeting this week. We've talked about roads, so let's start there. The Phase B road project that was approved. Fill us in on that.
Yeah, about 8 months ago, we approved a $3.5 million bond issue for 3 different phases throughout Youngsville, and this is going to be around the Dayton area, and Chimney-Metairie, right by our sports complex. It's a very dangerous intersection. It's also going to allow us to improve Chimney-Metairie all the way to Viot, which is by the tractor roundabout, and we'll be able to get that second phase of Chimney-Metairie restored back to the way it should be. The sugarcane trucks have kind of taken a toll on it over the years, and then also a lot of overlay throughout the city. So this is going to be really huge, and it's getting us closer to that roundabout at the Dayton and Chimney-Metairie intersection as well. We're hoping that will break ground by the end of the year. So that's another positive for us.
Awesome. Couple of events coming up. The Youngsville Police Department's community outreach Tuesday, 6 to 9 p.m.
Yeah, kudos to Chief Ricky Boudreau and his detectives. They're hosting a community outreach. This will be for families, kids, from 6 to 9 at the Youngsville Sports Complex. And basically it's going to go over a lot of different things like stranger danger, social media, what to share, not to share, different situations where, a lot of these people are coming in and taking advantage of these younger children, whether it be high school kids all the way down to young elementary kids. So I definitely encourage everybody. That'll be Tuesday, from 6 to 9, July 17th at the Youngsville Sports Complex. And also, speaking of Youngsville Sports Complex, we have our Pony World Series.
You just took my segue, Matt. You took my segue. Good job.
I'm sorry. It's exciting for us. It's the 3rd time we've had this. We have a great relationship with this organization. They bring in at least 3 international teams, plus about 7 to 8 teams from the States. And it's just really awesome to see these guys come in, play. Their families come, and it's really impressive. Some baseball that you get to see in all of the age groups from 10 and up. So I definitely encourage you. That's August 3rd through the 5th, and you can go to the Youngsville Sports Complex website and get the brackets and the times. And of course, Youngsville does have our all-star team that'll be representing this area in that tournament.
Youngsville City Councilman Matt Romero, you had a question?
No, I'm saying that's wonderful.
It's
always good to have the local community get involved with something as large as that.
Yeah, we're glad to have that relationship with them, and it's actually encouraging because next year we'll start having the Girls Softball World Series in Youngsville as well. So we're looking forward to that.
All right. Youngsville City Councilman Matt Romero has been our guest. Sir, thank you so much for waking up early with us and informing our listeners, and especially for giving even more clarity on the issue that's going on. Thank you so much, sir.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys.